Welcome to Nostalgia 1960s. Today we're diving into the magical world of Bewitched, 1964 to 1972, a show that captured the hearts of audiences with its whimsical charm and unforgettable characters. Do you remember the lovable witch Samantha Stevens and her hilarious family antics? Now, let's explore how the stars of Bewitched have transformed over the years. From their iconic roles as the Stevens family to their lives today, the changes of these actors are truly fascinating. Stay tuned as we uncover their real names, ages, and how they've evolved since the show first aired over 5 decades ago. Samantha Stevens, the charming and magical protagonist of Bewitched, was portrayed by Elizabeth Montgomery. Samantha is a good-natured witch who marries a mortal, Darren, and tries to lead a normal suburban life while keeping her magical powers a secret. Her twitching nose and clever spells became iconic, as did her attempts to balance her supernatural abilities with the challenges of everyday human life. Samantha's warmth, intelligence, and sense of humor made her a beloved character, and her interactions with a colorful cast of characters, including her mischievous mother Endora, brought endless entertainment to audiences. Elizabeth Montgomery, born on April 15, 1933, in Hollywood, California, was 31 years old when she first embodied the enchanting Samantha. Her performance was widely praised for its charisma and comedic timing, making Samantha one of television's most memorable and endearing characters. Beyond Bewitched, Montgomery enjoyed a successful career, starring in dramatic films like The Legend of Lizzie Borden. Sadly, Elizabeth Montgomery passed away on May 18, 1995, at the age of 62, leaving behind a legacy as a trailblazing actress. Her portrayal of Samantha Stevens remains a timeless part of television history, continuing to captivate viewers decades after the series first aired. Endora, the mischievous and flamboyant mother of Samantha Stevens, was portrayed by the iconic Agnes Moorehead. As a powerful and quick-witted witch, Endora was known for her disdain of Samantha's mortal husband, Darren, and her many attempts to meddle in their marriage. With her dramatic flair, biting sarcasm, and penchant for casting spells, Endora brought both comedy and chaos to the show. Despite her constant clashes with Darren, Endora's deep love and loyalty to her daughter made her a complex and unforgettable character. Agnes Moorehead, born on December 6, 1900, in Clinton, Massachusetts, was 64 years old when she began playing the role of Endora. A celebrated actress with a career spanning radio, film, and television, Moorehead brought sophistication and gravitas to the role, earning several Emmy nominations for her performance. She was also known for her work in classics like Citizen Kane and The Magnificent Ambersons. Agnes Moorehead passed away on April 30, 1974, at the age of 73, shortly after Bewitched concluded. Her portrayal of Endora remains one of her most beloved roles, and her contribution to television history continues to be celebrated. Larry Tate, the shrewd and opportunistic boss of Darren Stevens, was portrayed by David White. As the president of the advertising agency McMahon and Tate, Larry was a charming but often hypocritical character, willing to bend the truth or shift allegiances to impress clients and secure deals. Despite his self-serving tendencies, Larry was a source of humor on the show, frequently finding himself baffled by the strange events caused by Samantha's magical mishaps, though he never realized their supernatural origins. David White, born on April 4, 1916, in Denver, Colorado, was 48 years old when he first stepped into the role of Larry Tate. A seasoned actor with a long career in television and film, White brought depth and comedic finesse to the role, making Larry a memorable figure in the series. Outside of Bewitched, he appeared in notable shows such as Perry Mason and The Twilight Zone. Tragically, David White passed away on November 27, 1990, at the age of 74. His portrayal of Larry Tate remains a standout element of Bewitched, contributing significantly to the show's charm and enduring popularity. Darren Stevens, the mortal husband of Samantha, was originally portrayed by Dick York. As a devoted advertising executive, Darren often found himself hilariously out of his depth while trying to balance his marriage to a witch with his insistence on living a normal, magic-free life. His dynamic with Samantha, marked by love, humor, and occasional exasperation, was central to the series' charm. Darren's frequent clashes with Samantha's meddlesome mother Endora added further comedy to the show, as he struggled to hold his ground against her magical schemes. Dick York, born on September 4, 1928, in Fort Wayne, Indiana, was 36 years old when he began portraying Darren Stevens. York's comedic timing and everyman persona made him a perfect fit for the role, endearing him to audiences. Unfortunately, due to chronic back pain stemming from an old injury, York was forced to leave the series in 1969 during its 5th season. He was later replaced by Dick Sargent. York retired from acting and devoted much of his later life to charitable causes. He passed away on February 20, 1992, at the age of 63, but his performance as the original Darren Stevens remains a beloved part of television history. Tabitha Stevens, the magical daughter of Samantha and Darren, was portrayed primarily by Erin Murphy. Introduced in the 2nd season, Tabitha inherited her mother's witchly powers, which often led to humorous situations as she tried to navigate childhood with magical abilities. Whether she was playfully casting spells or getting into innocent mischief, Tabitha became a fan favorite, adding an extra layer of charm and whimsy to the series. Erin Murphy, born on June 17, 1964, in Encino, California, was just 2 years old when she began playing Tabitha, sharing the role briefly with her twin sister, Diane Murphy, in early episodes. As the series progressed, Erin became the sole actress to portray the character, growing up on screen and leaving a lasting impression as the sweet, spirited young witch. After Bewitched ended, Erin Murphy transitioned out of acting and pursued various ventures, including modeling, business, and philanthropy. As of 2025, she is 60 years old and remains connected to her Bewitched roots, often participating in fan events and reminiscing about her time on the show. Her portrayal of Tabitha Stevens remains a beloved part of television history. Darren Stevens, the patient and often frustrated husband of Samantha, was portrayed by Dick Sargent in the latter half of Bewitched. Sargent joined the series in 1969, replacing Dick York, who had to leave due to health issues. While the character of Darren maintained his role as a mortal trying to live a normal life alongside his magical wife, Sargent brought his own charm and comedic timing to the role, continuing the iconic dynamic between Darren and Samantha, as well as the tension with Samantha's mother and Dora. Dick Sargent, born on April 19, 1930, in Carmel, California, was 39 years old when he began portraying Darren. Although the change in actors was initially jarring for some fans, Sargent's performance quickly won them over with his ability to maintain the character's integrity and his strong chemistry with Elizabeth Montgomery. After Bewitched, Sargent continued acting in television, appearing in shows like The Ghost and Mrs. Muir and The Love Boat. Sargent was also an advocate for LGBTQ+ rights, coming out publicly in 1991, a bold move that made him an important figure in the community. He passed away on July 8, 1994, at the age of 64, but his portrayal of Darren Stevens remains a memorable part of the Bewitched legacy. Abner Kravitz, the comically suspicious and often baffled neighbor, was portrayed by George Tobias. As the husband of the nosy and frequently critical Gladys Kravitz, Abner was constantly at odds with the magical happenings next door at the Stevens house. He was frequently caught trying to expose Samantha's supernatural abilities, though he never succeeded in proving anything, leaving him frustrated and bewildered. His character brought a great deal of humor to the show, particularly with his running commentary and interactions with his wife. George Tobias, born on July 14, 1901, in New York City, was 63 years old when he began playing the role of Abner Kravitz. A seasoned actor with an extensive career in both film and television, Tobias brought a lovable, down-to-earth quality to Abner, making the character both funny and relatable. After Bewitched ended, Tobias continued acting, making guest appearances in several popular TV shows. George Tobias passed away on February 8, 1980, at the age of 78. His portrayal of Abner Kravitz remains a key part of the Bewitched ensemble, and his comedic timing and warmth helped solidify the show's charm, making him a beloved character in the series. Louise Tate, the charming and slightly naive wife of Larry Tate, was portrayed by Casey Rogers. Introduced in the 4th season, Louise became an integral part of the show, often caught up in the magical mayhem that surrounded Samantha and Darren. Unlike her husband Larry, who was always focused on his career, Louise brought a lighter, more down-to-earth presence to the show, frequently providing a contrast to her husband's often self-serving personality. Louise was a good-natured, supportive character who occasionally found herself in funny or awkward situations due to the supernatural events happening around her. Casey Rogers, born on July 15, 1925, in Wallace, Idaho, was 41 years old when she first joined Bewitched as Louise. With a background in both television and film, Rogers had previously appeared in a variety of roles but is best remembered for her portrayal of the kind, patient wife. After Bewitched, she continued her acting career with guest spots on TV shows and appeared in a few films. Casey Rogers passed away on July 6, 2006,